This is Hillcross Primary School in the London Borough of Merton. Here they deliver CPD by sharing the skills of all their staff. But they also look further afield and share expertise with a cluster of other schools in the area.
I've been fortunate to work in several different schools, and I'm very aware of the way that you need to learn something from everywhere you go, and many things hopefully from each different institution that you go to. And by facilitating more cross-fertilisation between schools, we're actually adding to our repertoire. We're giving ourselves more opportunities to help staff, but ultimately the pupils to improve.
So teaching assistant Julie Bowen, lead teacher Tanya Doig and NQT Nick Ingleby are off for the morning to visit another school in the borough. This is nearby Wimbledon Chase Primary. Tanya, who is also literacy coordinator at Hillcross, is going to meet her opposite number, Louisa Ryan, to discuss how they organise their literacy resources.
So you've got your guided readers and the individual ones together. Yep.
But they don't, and then I've got the individual reading books going up into Key Stage 2 as well.
Do you set homework or like reading tasks to go with it when they go home?
I wouldn't do normally, but sometimes I send if I'm doing guided reading with one group, I'll send the book home for them to finish, and then we'll come back and then we'll discuss it the next lesson or something like that.
Because the way we started, because in reception we're trialling the whole thing of sending individual readers home.
Yeah.
We've actually, given ourselves a load of work, but it's been working well, is actually typed up some things inside and actually set, giving parents an idea of what they could do with their child at home.
Actually, that's a really nice idea. I wouldn't mind borrowing that.
Okay, and how often do they...
I think in Tanya's case it's more getting experience of seeing some Key Stage 2 teaching going on, and also managing literacy across the school. Literacy being such a key area, Louise is an experienced literacy coordinator there who was able to talk through some areas of planning, some areas of implementation, and the link between the two of them actually emanated from a lead teacher session that they'd had 2 or 3 months ago. So, if you like, the link was established through a formal CPD opportunity.
Oh, thank you.
Meanwhile, Hillcross teaching assistant Julie is looking at the special needs base at Wimbledon Chase.
So which one is child, which one's children? That's
child.
Child. Okay.
Child make a castle.
Brilliant.
Julie Bowen was very keen to go out and have a look at the way that another learning base operated.
Good.
He's really good.
Clever.
But he is, isn't he?
And Suzanne Warwick at Wimbledon Chase now operates a very successful unit there.
And women.
The way that they were able to allow Julie to go in and see the resources and the strategies that they use in the base at Wimbledon Chase certainly was something Julie had been wanting to do for a while.
All the children have the mornings working in the base.
Right, okay.
Except if they have PE or French or music or
ICT.
they go to their classes for those. The boys over there are year 6, so we are really trying to work towards some independent working for them.
Right.
What would they use for light? Did they have electric lights?
No, they might use it in the glass.
What's in the glass? It wasn't in the glass, it was something behind the glass.
Candle.
Good boy, a candle.
The teaching assistants working with individual pupils record what they've done each day.
And they will write notes down here. Then I can I've got a record of what we've done, what the learning intention and success criteria is, and how they've got on. So even if I don't get a chance to speak to my teaching assistants, I can read how they've got on. Then I plan my next set of lessons around where they are. If they've understood it, we can move on. If there's a great big hole, which there's a whole area which they've not understood, then I will write out my next. So I'll only write a couple of days of lessons in a go.
Okay.
NQT Nick Ingleby from Hillcross has been joined by fellow NQT Jennifer Argiolas to see how literacy is delivered and planned at Wimbledon Chase. They visit a Year 4 class, in which Louisa Ryan is working towards a writing task about bullying.
The pulley's going to be fat. I think a bully's going to be really, really small and mean-looking and really, really unpleasant. And what's he doing with his body language? What's he doing? Making him Lloyd?
Well, he's showing his fists.
You've got 30 seconds to discuss some words to describe what the bully looks like, what he's doing. You don't need any pens in your hands, you just need to be talking. Ryan, put your pen down, please. 30 seconds.
I've just come here to see good teaching in practice and to get some ideas to take back to the rest of the staff. Because I know Louisa's a very good literacy teacher, so coming in, getting some ideas. Also been looking at her planning and seeing how she uses blocks instead of just, a week at a time. So she'll plan 2 or 3 weeks at a time and builds up to an end product and then works her way back. And it's obviously working really well because the children have obviously done a lot of work on bullying and what a bully is, and are building up a bigger picture to obviously what they're going to be doing at the end. It's obviously writing a story or something to do with a bully.
This teacher particularly focuses on doing a 3-week plan. So you start at a point way before the writing, so you're not rushing children into writing, and you're getting them to write. Writing isn't immediate. You're not trying to force them to write, and everything is written based. It's coming after a period of reflection and learning, and then you get a better piece of writing theoretically.
It's been very useful. I've picked up some tips from Louisa of class management as well as subject matter. So yeah, it's been really good.
So if you can give me an example of a complex sentence to describe the bully, Oliver.
I think it is very useful coming to another school. Even just seeing the different displays, seeing how different people, different ideas, different interactions, different ability groups, all those sort of things. It's just probably slightly more comfortable as well, watching somebody you don't have to interact with in your staff room, at staff meetings, and all that sort of stuff.
I have also watched my own colleagues, but it's good to get a perspective from another school as well to bring that back to our school, and hopefully I'll bring that into our school then, and maybe some other teachers can benefit from it as well.
Robert, what would you say about his eyes?
We met on a course that was provided by our PDC, and she was presenting a workshop at the course, and we started talking about our teaching in our schools, and she would like to come and see how we teach literacy in foundation stage, and I was just keen to see how she did it in Key Stage 2. So it's a new link that was set up, but I know some of our NQTs have been over, so we just continue that link really.
But how practical is it to let staff have time out of school like this?
I suppose the most important thing is that people feel that if that's something that they feel they would benefit from, then it's worth it happening, and you need to make things happen for people, and it is a priority. Secondly, NQTs do actually get a more generous allowance of PPA time.
Back at Hillcross, teachers from other schools in the borough have come to meet lead teacher Tanya Doig to see how their Year 1 classroom is organised.
What you will see is elements of early years in the Year 1 classrooms. So the construction area, the writing area, sand and water, which is set up in the afternoons. That table over there is set up for creative or DT.
The arrangements here are more like an early years classroom.
So your afternoons are sort of topic-based,
yeah,
are they?
Yeah, it's all topic-based. I mean, we're doing light and dark now, so we've got the cave, we're doing things about science, we're ordering the planets, art is linked to space, our geography is linked to space, history is linked to space, DT, everything's linked to space.
You see them a bit more playing in the afternoon in here, a bit more like a reception.
Yeah, we
class.
have a lot more play in the afternoon.
Yeah.
They have free play. I can walk into the nursery.
They don't rotate. They won't go from, one day one child does something. It's not like on a working program.
Such as science base or there, or it's not like that.
No. They have, for example, if they're doing a writing task, it's differentiated at each of their levels, and so they'll go to their table, and then the next day they'll move on to something different.
And then the second week we brought it all together, and they wrote a story from beginning to end, and it was all structured perfectly. I mean, even the really low attainers.
So that goes through the whole of Key Stage 1?
Yeah, the whole of Key Stage 1. A postcard and a letter.
But then you said you don't really do much handwriting.
If you start children writing too soon, they should be mark making in foundation stage and start writing legibly. So I would encourage them, while I'm doing one-to-one writing with a child or working in a group of 6, I would walk around and say, you've done that letter perfectly, let's try and work on that one. I wouldn't do a handwriting session.
Tanya as a lead teacher is there's an expectation on her to disseminate good practice, not just within this school, which he does extremely effectively, but also to share it with other schools nearby to us. And that was an opportunity, obviously, to to improve the links with other schools, but obviously to help them generate more resources, more strategies, more ideas for their own teaching. Her ability to deliver and disseminate good practice is certainly one of the strengths that we've got here at Hillcross.
Yeah, I've asked a lot of questions. Our school's going through the process of which avenue do we take? Do we go into these topics, or do we still stay at what we are? And I think year one next year will be focusing very largely on different ideas from today and things that will suit our children as well.
It's really good to come out to different settings and just see how other people operate, basically.
Yeah, ideas, you know, that you can go away and sort of implement in your own setting.
Yeah, it's been very useful. Yeah, it's just good to talk and to share ideas. And
when you're actually in your own school and you think, is that the right thing, is that right? When you speak to other colleagues, you actually realise, well, you are on the right track and you are doing those right things, and that is working in other schools. So if it's working elsewhere, it's going to be working, you'll see the benefits in ours.
Andrea Day, a newly appointed inclusion manager from another school in the borough, has come to Hillcross to talk to their experienced Senko, Julie Whittington. At their previous meeting, Julie had given Andrea a checklist of things to do.
I have met the speech and language therapist. We've discussed a new caseload for next half term, which has been very useful. I've met the educational psychologist as well. I've referred a couple of children to her. I have met the statement monitoring team. We've got 2 annual reviews this term. Right. One we've just finished and one's just coming up. So it's my first annual review.
Excellent. So did you do all the paperwork for that, or do you get someone else to help you?
Had a little bit of help with the first one, and I've been doing all the paperwork for the second one.
Very good.
Yes.
See if you can get out of that next time.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to take your tip and try and get some support. Yeah, okay. In my action plan, I plan to meet with the class teachers to discuss the children in their classes at the moment that they'd like me to work with, right. Particularly the children on the School Action Plus.
You'd do better to be present at the handover meeting when they talk with when the 2 teachers discuss the new classes that are coming into their class. If you could be present, then you can hear what the teacher's got to say about each child, and that gives you a kind of an overall, and then you can make notes and think about who you're targeting next year.
Okay. Take note of that, thanks.
It's just nice to meet people from other schools. I mean, otherwise you kind of work in isolation, aren't you? But, I mean, it will be beneficial both ways. I mean, and...
Well, you're the only person in the school doing the job. So
there's no one else
to ask, obviously, other than the head and the deputy. It depends if they've got experience in the area. So you have to really seek advice elsewhere. And what better way for doing it than doing it on the job? And when you're learning to be a teacher, you learn in the environment in which you're going to teach and learn in. So it makes sense to go out to a school and actually learn on the job, if you like. So it's been fantastic, and it's nice to see other Senkos in different schools as well.
So what's the main value of sharing skills with other schools?
The bottom line for all teachers is we want the best for the pupils in our charge, and I think to take it a step further than that, we want all pupils to be educated the best they can, and for a more harmonious, successful society. So we have to adopt that whole holistic approach, if you like. And I think that if we can share our expertise with schools from this area, then we know that providing we're all on board, then they can share their expertise with us, and therefore the ideal, if you like, is that everybody benefits, and the long-term ideal is that hopefully it's our society that benefits.